All right, so moving on to the next segment. I'll be sharing my thoughts on Katie Taylor versus Amanda Serrano. The rematch is official, and I'll be sharing my fight preview on that fight. So it was announced last week that Katie Taylor versus Amanda Serrano, the rematch will be happening in the co-main event of the Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson event that will be taking place on Netflix and Jerry's World at Jerry's World in Dallas, Texas, in the Cowboys Stadium. And it has been announced that Katie Taylor will defend her super lightweight undisputed titles against Amanda Serrano in an anticipated rematch. So my thoughts on this fight being announced, I am honestly excited as hell that we will be seeing the rematch between Katie Taylor and Amanda Serrano. And you look back at that fight when those two respective fighters fought in 2022, that fight was absolute cinema. To me, that goes down as the greatest women's boxing fight in women's history, and arguably one of the greatest fights in combat sports history in the women's department. That's how special that fight between Katie Taylor and Amanda Serrano was in 2022. And in my opinion, that was the best fight of the calendar year of 2022 in the sport of boxing. So if you look back at that fight, it was an epic back and forth encounter. That 12 round sequence between Amanda Serrano and Katie Taylor, throwing straight haymakers, bombs, doing everything they could to win the fight, had me really intrigued and on the edge of my seat, chomping at the bit to see the rematch. We will finally see that. So shout out to Jake Paul, giving women's boxing the spotlight they did truly deserve, because they're going to get a lot of fans watching and buzzing about the rematch. And let's make it interesting this time. Let's make it a 12 3-minute rounds in the sport of boxing for this historic undisputed championship fight, because we've seen in Amanda Serrano's last performance in December, she brought back 12-minute 3 rounds to the sport of boxing for women's department, something that has not been done since 2007. That's what Amanda Serrano did in December. And I think they both can show that they could do this. This would be a big step up to me in women's boxing. It's something that they need. You look at UFC, they go for the championship rounds, they go as long as the men, 5-minute 5 championship rounds. Why can't the woman do the same thing in the sport of boxing? It's not going to hurt. They have shown that women, there's a lot of elite caliber fighters in the women's department compared to the men. And I'm not taking anything away from the men, but when you look at the women, the top tier women like Katie Taylor, Amanda Serrano, Cameron Taylor, Alicia Baumgartner, Clarissa Shields, everybody I just named has been undisputed. There's a lot more undisputed going on, a lot more greatness over there in the women's department that could be said on the men's pound for pound list in terms of chasing greatness, in terms of being an undisputed champion. So I think the woman would thrive with this fight being a 12 3-minute match. I'm looking forward to this rematch between Katie Taylor and Amanda Serrano, but those are my thoughts on the rematch officially being announced for this summer.